Hey everyone, this is Robin. I'm here with your NEPA shows coming up this week on Friday, November 18th.
Hey, welcome back to the Beyond the Break podcast. I am AL, and this is your host.
I am Ben.
Hey,
I
Ben.
am your Ben. Hey, what's up?
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
To those celebrating. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all right.
Yeah?
I skipped my nap today, so.
Yeah, I see you're
I didn't mean to.
Different
it was my
location.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're on my. This is where I nap.
Yeah.
It was either eat before the show or nap before the show, and eat one because I like food.
Fair. I like food too. Actually, I really like food. Anyway, who doesn't? I suppose there's a lot of people that don't.
I mean,
yeah. I like food that I can choose, not that it's chosen for me.
Yeah.
You know, so there's that. Today, we've got a special guest. His name is Calvin Weary, and he's a director and producer and educator of Weary Arts Group that he started back in 2014. Calvin has a colorful history when it comes to self-expression through the arts and supporting arts in the community. A student of York College and a creative himself, he has deep experience and education that has taught him how to cultivate a driving force behind aspiring artists. Calvin has worked in education since the early 2000s and has served as director of numerous children's schools, including the William Penn Performing Arts Institute. He is a mastermind behind Weary Arts Group, like I said, in York, PA, founded in 2014 by Calvin himself. The group empowers young creatives towards leadership through training and education. His mission is to provide a creative environment and positive network between artists of all ages and cultivate a desire to share the arts in the community. As a creative, Calvin directs and produces plays, musicals, and video projects, including live performances of Rent, Beauty and the Beast, and other notable stage productions. He is passionate about storytelling and occasionally gets in front of the camera as an actor in independent films. So that's going to be very, very cool. And again, like we're sticking with the pre-production theme for our contestants. For anybody hopping on who doesn't really know what we're talking about, we've got a contest for original artists, and they are in round 1 right now. Where we give them 3 months to create a DIY music video. They can't pay for it. They got to do it themselves. They can get help, obviously, friends, family, etc. But you know, it's got to be them. It's got to be their little baby, you know. And in order to help, or you know, kind of give them some inspiration, we've divided the 3 months of the round 1 into 1 month of us doing pre-production podcasts. Next month we'll doing production, and the following we'll be doing post-production. So to stick with the way we've done things the last couple of weeks, we've been showing music videos of prior contestants' submissions. So we're still doing season 1. That's way back in 2012. And we're about to show you Discount Cinema from Denver, Colorado.
All right.
Campfire sweet never satisfied. Taught to buy things we need. We can get a part of anything. Oh, 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 you've got to get around it. Oh, 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 you've got to get away. Oh, 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 you've got to do without it. Oh, 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 you've got to get straight.
So I hear you're undead too. That's pretty cool. I've been undead for like 200 years. It's whatever.
You want everything. A scene chaser party till the day you die. You want a part of me. A dream catcher, oh, you're never satisfied. You've got to get around it. Oh, 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 oh. You've got to get away. Oh, 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 oh. You've got to do without it. Oh, 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 oh. You've got to get straight.
All right, that was Discount Cinema, and Cal has disappeared.
Oh, no,
there
there
he
he
is. Hey, hey,
I
Cal,
wanted
how
to make
you
an
doing?
entrance.
Yeah,
I'm good.
awesome.
I'm enjoying my time. I was sitting in my my blurry office, and I found a mask that we made for the Elephant Man when we did the production of it. What's left of it? It's kind of hard to see with the blur, but it's like this is actually the hair from the person who played the part. We cut a bunch of her hair off for playing the part of John Merrick, and we incorporated it into the mask that was used for her. Classically, when you do the play, you just contort your face to play the part. You don't actually do the mask. But I grew up on the movie, the black and white movie from the 80s. And I was like, if I ever get to do this play, I am going to do the movie. And it's usually what happens to me when I'm doing plays or musicals. I am more driven by the cinematic end of what I want to portray, what I want to give to an audience. So I think in scenes and think in shots. I think in 24 frames, even when it's on stage. And so this thing was it's gross that I kept it this long because it is real hair. And it was my first time working with mask making. There's actually video of us doing this. This had to have been 15 years ago. I didn't actually make the mask. I was learning from a monster mask guy who was one of our old punk rock kid friends who was learning. And I learned from him, and then after that, I started doing it and dabbling. So I got to do Phantom of the Opera, and I got to do all the gooey, face, the what goes into the mask. So when you pull it off, the gooey drips comes out, and it's all torn up. And I had I got to do that myself, and I've done a number of prosthetics since then for like Macbeth. But this is where it started with this hairy mask right here that still sits in my house around my kids and stuff, and it shows gonna be.
That's awesome. No, you definitely hold on to that. That's
Right.
really cool.
Oh, it's gross. It's gross, guys. I mean, like literally, like this young lady who played this part, she was like maybe 16 at the time. Now she's a mom. She doesn't want to know that I still have her.
Now.
I still have your hair in a mask.
That's cool though. That's actually really cool. I still have. Oh, you can't. Where is it? Doop. That head right there is about like 10 years old now. From a production, but we actually had an actor come in and get his face molded. So that was cool, breathing out of straws and stuff. And
well, I'm glad you said that because that one we did it right. When I did Macbeth we have a show called Macbeth of the Dead, and it incorporates both play and music and video. So there were video scenes that were shot for it. And then there were also live action, mostly live action. The premise is it's Macbeth, but it's post-apocalyptic. The whole set is made out of pallets and found wooden materials, and basically there's camps that are housing zombies and using them as labor because they all move in a direction and they use turn things, and but past that point, I poured the head of Macbeth for the end scene when it's removed by Macduff.
Oh.
And the gentleman who's playing Macbeth, he was like, I don't want the straws in my nose. I don't want the straws in my nose. I'm fine. I can do it. I said, but you can't breathe in, man. And we put one straw in his mouth. What did he do? He breathed in. His nose.
Oh.
So no, this is the worst part though.
Oh no.
They have to pull it all out.
He's freaking out. I clean all of it out of his nose. I get everything out that I can. A week later, he sneezes, and a perfect like the shape up to his brain shoots out of his nose in not acetate, alginate. Yeah. The mask.
Well, this is what your sinus looks like.
Wow. It touched his brain. He's in a strange sense. Still a great actor. And he ironically has played the Elephant Man now, but no mask, all facial contortions and body.
I mean, I feel like after that experience, I probably wouldn't want to try another mask again for a while.
Yeah, man, he learned a lesson on that one, but it was just
listen to what they listen to the pros. How about
straws in your nose for a full pour.
Trust the whole system. Don't trust the project.
But what a
trust
fun
the process. That's what it is.
Yes, trust the process.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any theater human parts around the house. I don't think I have any. Unlike you guys, I don't have any stray human body parts around. So
I'm surprised. That's odd.
Actually, really
get your parts.
So Cal, you do a lot. You do a lot. How did you start? You were in a punk rock band. Like, you've done a lot. Give us like a short and brief kind of.
Okay, I'll shoot you through it quick. Born in Brooklyn, New York. My mother was going to FIT, Fashion Institute of Technology. She let me do all kinds of crazy stuff. Very young, we would go see Broadway shows. She did runway shows. So I grew up in a house where bolts of fabric would lay around the house all day. I'd fall asleep and wake up and there'd be a full show, a full wedding, whatever she was working on. So I grew up in that kind of a creative maker space my entire life. Always pins to go into your feet on the floor. Always something to be made. I wore a cape from age 4. Like we're just saying, like it was the creative piece was there, and it was me and her against the world after she and my dad split. Came back to Pennsylvania, got me right into acting classes because I was insane already from very young. I've been on stage pretty much from age 4. And as it always happens, I think it does, if you really, really love the art, you're going to start messing with how you can manipulate it. As much as I love being on stage, I was one of those kids who ended up, in the attic. I went to performing arts school, and this was back when before there were nonlinear editors. So I would sit up in a room with 3 VCRs. With my A roll, my B roll, and this is literally 3 VCRs, not the real setup with a U-matic drive. Cutting back and forth, editing things like dance videos and plays that kids were working on because I wanted to have more control over it. And I was the asshole who was always like, "We can't put that person on stage singing like that or doing that thing." Now, I do all the time, but I would manipulate, and so. Long and the short of it is, I always wanted to be in control of every aspect. But the cool part about this is that as I've gotten older, I've learned how to train others so that I can delegate the things that they may just have a better eye for or quicker hands for. But at the end of the day, I come back and I'm usually the one who can say, okay, these things work together well or don't work together well. But I have people who do other things that I train them to do it better than me. So
nice.
Yeah. But the whole like rock and roll thing, I only got into rock and roll because I went to a school that at the time didn't have an adequate acting program. and I wanted to act. So I literally created a character in a band, and then ended up playing in the band for 14 and a half years.
Oops.
The same character, and it's crazy. Like that's what happened, man. Like, you know,
That's method acting, I believe.
Extreme.
Hardcore method, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the deal is like, you know, we started off at least with my band, we started off being like, I'm 48, so we were grunge era, like STP, Pearl Jam, all that stuff. And you know, here I am internally a blonde hair, blue eyed, 150-pound white guy, but on the outside, 220-pound. The last thing you see coming, knock you the hell out off the stage, dude, and huge.
Did you ever rock a hawk?
Cool.
I gotta know this.
I did. Always a tiny one. You know, I had braids, I had dreads, I had hair down to here. And then at one show, I was swinging my head around when it started to get thinner, and one of them came out. I was like, shave the ball. Yeah, I had to get rid of it. But you know, that 14 and a half years, we went from being that kind of band to being straight up melodic punk, theatrical, trampolines, fake blood, fake fights. We grew up during like the era of what is it, Extravaganza 13. I just forgot their name now. They where they would lock the doors down and like no one gets out alive, that kind of stuff. So and it lent itself to being part of that cinematic life. I always tell my kids, you know, most of my life from age like 19 up till like early 30s is all on videotape. It, you know, it's all on videotape. It's like It's all on, and throughout the years it changed. So we went from oh my gosh, I'm trying to think, like VHS tapes to like the well, yeah. Well, dude, I never met you. Well, we were doing we were making DVDs by the time we were done, but we were recording to you know, mini DVs, and you know, then eventually you had hard drives inside of cameras, and that's about the time when I stopped like being the one, you know, playing in the bands. But just amazing to me when we got the nonlinear editing. Oh my god. The first time I sat down in front of an iMac G5 and was able to produce the same thing it took me like days to produce in like 3 hours, it was like, oh my god, it was the whole.
I would have been so mad. Like, this is some bullshit.
Oh
no, you gotta adapt. You gotta adapt. You gotta adapt. Like people are freaking out about AI. You know, it's not going away. You gotta learn to live with it. Learn to have it work for you for your own benefit. You know, as opposed to trying to fight it. You're not going to fight it. It's not gonna, you know, it's happening.
Once it reaches the people, then it's already been around for 10, 15 years, and you just now are getting access to it. That's all. Like right.
But so Cal, you also, you know, we were talking about cameras and hard drives. Is that around the time you started getting involved in video production?
Well, you know, I always had a camera. You know, is like I had an old RCA. I had a Betamax camera. Like, so just as another background, I grew up on a college campus, your college campus. I grew up on the campus. My mother worked there for 30 years, 25 years about. So every time these new things would come out, you know, we had access to them. The library had access. I had access to laser discs, like the monsters, the watch things. Any movie you can imagine, I had access to them. That was my summer. I was covered in books, covered in media, and so I would rent these cameras out. You'd rent the camera out from the library, and I would go and shoot my first films. Like I shot my first like short films, and you know, learned about the camera reading a book. Didn't have a class at the time for it, and I learned that way. I incorporated a lot of the things that I knew from theater, you know, and from photography classes into that. So I like kind of spent a lot of time by myself because I was a quirky, weird kid, and you know, those were those things. With that said, I've had almost every type of like video camera there is. So I'm much more guerrilla DIY type. You know, I do have a Blackmagic now that I never see because my daughter, of course, is a mass comm major in college and does documentaries. And so as soon as I bought my Blackmagic 6K, it left my house. I have the case for it, because she thought that was too bulky. The case that actually protects it,
Right,
the case
right.
that keep
That
it
one.
protected. I'm looking
Right,
in case she's watching. That's in my house, but she got herself a nice soft case that she walks around with that camera.
Well, you know, fashion.
Of course. Well, hey, look, it's function for her, but like you know,
Right.
I had a oh my gosh, the Sony VX2 2000 and 2100, and then when they upgraded to having an actual hard drive on board, when it wasn't the mini DV, I got one of those, and that broke, and it broke in half during a shoot. All the DSLR stuff, I was so amazed by what you could shoot with a DSLR when you could shoot some 24 frame stuff that looked like film. I got a lot of different lenses, but I've never had any of the really expensive stuff past the Blackmagic, because I was always a firm believer. I am a firm believer in the fact that I want to be able to pick up anything that can record and shoot quality. It's all about the story, right? So I want to have great cameras, but I'm always working with people who don't. And I have friends who have really, really good stuff too, but I find myself always on the late night hooking up with the ones who don't. And we've shot some really fun stuff over the years.
So over, you know, I'm a firm believer that, you know, sometimes the best way to learn is to screw up. So over your years of working with video, you know, I'm sure you've learned a lot about preparing for the shoot, you know,
Right.
pre-production, right?
Right.
Are there any like major lessons learned that just pop into your head that you can think of?
So first it's about personnel. And I'm using that word. It makes it sound real, you know, bougie to say personnel, but I'll just say the friends you shoot with. So as a teacher, you know, I would always say to kids, look, you got your buddies, people you love to hang out with. And maybe they're good for your content. Maybe they're funny, or they do stuff. They're willing to do ridiculous shit for you to videotape. But when you look around the room and you think about the people who are willing to really get shit done, you're going to find yourself sometimes not working with your friends. The people who are willing to stay up with you all night and make sure the audio is right, make sure the lighting is right. They're not going to just blow things off because they want to go and party and do bumps of coke. Like, they're going to stay with you the whole way through. So I always feel like having personnel, and sometimes it takes you outside of your circle to find someone who really has the sounds that you want, or has the ability to get the sound that you want at a higher level, or even as simple as, you know, the people who are willing to sit there and break down scene by scene what you're shooting, rather than the ones who kind of like, oh yeah, that looks fine. I want someone to argue with me about whether or not we need another take.
Right.
So personnel is the first thing. The people you surround yourself with are going to make sure that any production you're doing, whether it is something for film, video, which now that's blurred across at this point. For me, stage productions, things that are hybrids of those, you got to have people around you who are willing to tell you, no, this doesn't look right, it doesn't sound right, or, you know, we could do better than that. So personnel's first. I want to, and I also say that, you know, also cultivating people who've never done it before, but who are hungry and want to learn and want to put the time in is important too. So it's not always, it's great if you can get a veteran on board, but sometimes veteran energy can be dead energy. Not to put down the veterans, if there's anyone here who's been shooting for like 40 years and they're like, you don't know anything, you no, but I am saying, like,
back in my day.
That's right. Back in my day, we didn't even use cameras. We used our eyeballs. No. And you like it. You like using your eyeballs because that's next to Jesus. So you got me started on that one. But those people who are so young and hungry that they're just like, they're calling you and saying, "No, let's go shoot today. It's a great day to shoot out Chickies Rock," or well, you guys aren't where I am, so you probably don't know where Chickies Rock is, but it's like a really cool like area down here. You know, places where there's. I used to take my kids out to all the places in our town that were cool places to shoot, that I thought were. I was like, whenever you're doing a scene where you really want to make it look like a big city, because we're in a small city, here's the places that you want to go to. If you want some really cool graffiti under this bridge, if you don't mind getting stabbed every now and then, right under this bridge, good place to come to. And I used to love watching the films of my former students, and I would see, you know, not only that they would go and use those places, but that I could have 5 different guys go and shoot there and get 5 different like ideas of that spot. Right. Sometimes horrible, but other times just like Kurosawa, like, damn, like you caught that. And for me being the media, like I have never myself done a feature-length film. I've never shot one. But I've been privy to creating people who, not creating, that sounds funny, helping to educate people who have. Inspiring, yeah. There we go. And sometimes they'll throw me a role or something. I get to do some cameos or whatever. But I think, and I know I kind of went around that, but the personnel thing is so important. Yeah. It is. You got to have a solid team. You got to have people that you can trust, people that can take direction well, people that know when and, you know, where to, you know, bring up counterpoints, you know, and also can shut up and color if they need to, because that's what the director said, you know. So there's a whole bunch of understanding and communication in there. So, and I will tell you that I've been like on other people's shoots as talent. In my older age, you know, I've been, you know, in front of the camera instead of behind it. And I've really enjoyed working with, there's a guy named Doug Henderson here in York, Everything's Fire, and he does some really cool stuff. I love the fact that he's like, you know, he's still letting me as talent, because he knows my background and stuff. So sometimes, you know, if I say something, they're listening to me. I'm not overbearing. I'm trying not to be. Probably am. Don't tell me. But you know, I've been on shoots before. He's there. His videographer is his guy's awesome. I've been on other shoots where like they don't necessarily get it, but if they're willing to be open to me saying, hey, why not, you know, just turn the camera this way and you're going to catch this, or let me fall. If you want me to fall off these stairs, I'll do it, but make sure the camera let's do it 5 times and let's get each of these angles. Lay the camera on the floor. You're going to get this great shot of my head hitting. If I'm going to bash my head off the ground, please get the bounce.
Get it from every.
We can only do this one time.
Dude, I like.
If I'm going to hurt myself,
and it's the last shot we're doing.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'll tell you right now. There's some footage probably floating around about of me diving off of I've dived off a lot of stages over the years. You know, punk rock band. So I'm at a Rotary meeting last week.
I have to, just accident prone.
Well, that's that kind of story. So I'm at the country club at a Rotary meeting last week. I'm a Rotarian because I'm an old business guy now, and that's one of the tables I sit at, as well as other ridiculous ones. And I'm trying to talk people into doing this thing called the Race Against Racism. They have them all over the country, and I have a headband on and wristbands on, and my bass player from my old punk rock band is like next in line to be president of this Rotary, and we are the 2 weirdest like queerest ducks in the place. But we're here, we're like running parts of the organization. So whenever we're there together, it's always this kind of one-upmanship thing going. And I'm on stage talking about, yeah, I'm gonna be racing. I was like, but you know what, I gotta get training, and I'm starting today. On your marks, get set. The stage is only a foot and a half off the ground. I have dived off stages that were 6 feet off the ground. So I go running top speed, jump off the stage. The major difference between this and every other stage I've ever jumped off of is I wear fucking sneakers when I play gigs, not shoes. When I hit that 3-year-old carpet at the country club, I slid, went face first towards the carpet. Sense memory went tuck and roll. I tucked. Well, I think I rolled and tucked. I didn't tuck and roll. Head hit the ground, shoulder hit the ground. This is last week, by the way, last Wednesday. I rolled over, went sliding through a pair of 12-foot tall full wood doors, bashed my foot through that, broke the bottom of the door, landed in the hallway. Across the hallway is a bunch of like old geriatric women having like crab cakes. There's someone on stage that says, "Is this part of the show? Is this planned?"
No.
That's when I woke up. I hopped up in the air. I go, "I made it!" And then I ran down a set flight of stairs, jumped down another flight, sat in a chair, and assessed what was broken. Now, this is what you'll love, because this definitely goes into the film thing. I sat there. I could feel that there was a little brush burn here. I was like, okay, that's not what my skin feels like. The shoulder felt a little tender, but it always does, because I was in a band for 14 and a half years. I got up and started walking out. My ankle felt a little tender. I went to a local co-work space to shoot a commercial audition with one of my former students. Shot footage with her for an hour. When I went to get up, I couldn't stand on my left foot. So I ended up driving to urgent care. My wife works for the local, she works for the big, like, she's a medical person. So I can't do anything without her knowing.
Right.
I have to call her and say, hey, it's going to pop up on your phone. I'm going to get my foot checked out. Here's what happened. She starts laughing. She's like, when are you going to stop jumping off stages? I was like, dude, I'm never going to stop. So like I go in, they x-ray. I was like, it's not going to be broken. I've never broken a bone in my life, not for lack of trying. They measured it. They did it. Didn't break it. I bruised my heel bone. So I've been rolling around for the last week on a friggin' like little scooter dealie. I took the boot off after one day. I couldn't do that anymore. But my point is that it's all with everything that happened. I still made it over there for my video shoot, because never say fucking die. No, no, but like, but there's a mentality that comes from people who just don't stop. Like, you go out, like, it's freezing cold out, but you're shooting scenes that are supposed to be. That's
called passion, sir.
Right on. And I don't mean to jump off. These are the kinds of people you want working with you. And when it comes to like the pre-production process, you're seeking out the people who always told you they wanted to do it, and you've ended up checking off all these folks who were they were bullshitting you. You know, they were bullshitting. They wanted it. But there's somebody out there who you never thought was going to be your best friend, who's going to sit there and hold that damn stick to get the right audio for 8 hours straight. Someone who's going to be willing to do that at the lowest levels of this. At the higher levels of it, it's the people who like stick with you when they could get the better job. You know, so I always come back to that piece, like the passion, the personnel that really wants that. They're looking at, hey, this might be the thing that gets us what we wanted, to do this thing that we love as our main job, so that we don't have to do anything else but make movies, but make productions. You know, that's So sorry, that went on.
No, that was good. That was good. That was bravo. That was great.
Just enough story time mixed in with making a point.
That's right. Get story time.
Prime Minister of Marketing came to see us today. So, all right, we gave our contestants 3 items that need to be in their video, and that was a fun shoot just on its own. But
so many dildos. Anyway, good.
That was the other video.
Oh, okay.
That's where we're funding the other stuff,
right? Business idea. Anyway, so the 3 items were a banana, a pineapple, and an envelope. What do you think of that, just in general?
Well, okay. So I gotta admit, because I actually saw when they came through, because my kids playing on one of the bands. So I was a little pissed off that we got 2 fruits, but other than that, like they go together. They go together though. They're delicious.
I was
banana. I'm going to tell you right now, as soon as I saw them come through, went and made myself a banana and pineapple smoothie. So I appreciate you on that. The envelope, I just finished directing Clue, so the envelopes always make sense for that. And there's so many different things you can do with an envelope, because an envelope can start the top of a production. Anything, the unknown is there. it can be the thing that comes at the end that lets you know that you won or that you lost. There's so many different like ideas of what an envelope holds for us. For those of us who are like my age, envelopes coming in the mail could be a pen pal. It could be an acceptance letter. It could be the letter that tells you that the woman you love is leaving you. Like there's so many different stories that come from the envelope. And the envelope goes through this journey to get to you, right? Whether it's a messenger who brings it, whether it's coming through the mail, or if it's you who's enacting it. If you're the one writing it, you're sending the envelope on its mission. So I do think that obviously I just talked about it enough. That's the part of it that I like the most. Pineapples. I just got back from Hawaii. I went on a trip down there. And one of the things that I did was I sent pineapples back for myself, which back in the old days, that was like the coolest shit you could do, is to give all your friends pineapples when you got back. Here's the deal. Back then, you didn't have the access to pineapples like we do now. I'm saying they were good pineapples.
Yeah, but that fresh Hawaiian pineapple hits different, though. I will say
Yeah, you're right.
so good.
I still have the number. I'll go ahead and give you guys the number. You can order your own fresh pineapples to your house. The fact that I was there, I wanted to come back like, my friends, I brought you fresh pineapples. I wanted to hand them to them, but no, I had to order them and send them, to them. So at this point, everyone here can have fresh pineapples. I would drop it in the chat, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you the link. Now that we're here on QSC, I'm going to send you guys the link for fresh pineapples. But they came from Dole. They were Dole. When they came in the box, it said Dole on the side. I was like, God, at least if it said Dolomite, it would have been better. But I mean, like some different name.
I learned, like, when I was in Hawaii, I worked on a cruise liner in Hawaii once, and I learned about the pineapples. They actually export and then re-import their own pineapples. Like, you can't just get them fresh from the islands. For some reason, they send them to California and then import them back. Well, I don't understand why, but
you gotta put that California stank on it. But
yeah,
I don't know. But
here's the thing about the envelope and the pineapple and the banana. I want to make sure bands understand that you can use your imagination, right? Because first of all, an envelope comes in all different shapes and sizes, right? So you're not just stuck with like a letter envelope.
Right.
Listen, I don't see somebody trying to
a pineapple, it could be an entire pineapple. It could be pineapple cubes. It could be pineapple juice. It could be a drawing of a pineapple. For a banana, what other bananas are there? There's banana spiders. Think outside. If you're one of these bands that want to take these and like really like push yourself to incorporate them into your video, not just like in the background so we know you shot it at the proper time. If you really want to incorporate them as props, it doesn't have to be just a straight up, here's a pineapple, here's a banana, and here's a regular size envelope. So
there's so much weird stuff you can do with it too.
Keep that in mind.
Especially with like fruits that are like these are fruits. They're malleable. They're squishy. They can like like you could have like Edward Scissorhands, but it's all bananas. Like you can do weird shit. Like it's absolutely options you can play with and just do weird stuff that'll be funny.
I was thinking of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. The whole idea that the banana, the pineapple, and the envelope are all best friends. And like
I am 30 and 40 years old and I don't need this. Like,
dude, if you have the pineapple and the banana that are living together, and one day they go to the mail and they get their mail, but they get an envelope that actually is animated like them.
Right.
And they both want, like, the whole premise of the story is that there may be something in the envelope that they both need, what they want. Maybe it's money, maybe it's they want a contest, but the envelope is so like cool. They don't open it because they know once they open the envelope dies. So like they can't open it, like it becomes their new best friend. And it's like there's always that conflict of like, man, this guy's our best friend, but God, there's like $1 million inside of him. I don't know. Maybe it's a yacht, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. But like there's, I don't know. There's so many possibilities with like inanimate objects.
This sounds like something that would have an alternate ending. It would have to.
Yeah,
it would have to.
Like you walk in and the banana has opened the envelope, and it's
ripped open, and there's like just the guts.
Or like Clue, like you were talking about Clue earlier. In different theaters they had different endings.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
When we were actually talking just before, we both did a production of it, and I don't know if they did so the version I did was based on the board game.
Right.
And at the beginning of the show, I played Mr. Body. So
great.
I was also the narrator.
Right.
I at the beginning of the show went around before the show in the audience, and I picked people. I would randomly select 3 people in the audience, and they'd be the ones that came up, and they picked from the deck of cards the random weapon, killer and room.
That's actually pretty cool. That's
we put
cool.
those envelopes, put them on an envelope, put them on stage, and then somebody came and collected the remaining cards, and they went backstage and quickly had to figure out which cards
one
were
was
missing. Yeah, well, because it changed the script of the whole show. So every night I never quite knew. Like there was always one scene that would be like only a line or two would change, but it would be just enough to kind of give you a hint to try and figure out who done it with what and where. So like it was really envelopes, and they're so you can do so much with them.
The part of me that loves the idea of interactive, full. So one of the theaters that I do here, I do a Shakespeare on the Rocks, and I also do improv on the rocks. So it's all about getting drunk. But the point being, and I'm sorry for anybody out there who has a problem, seek help. But the whole idea of those is to take actors out of their comfort zone and involve the audience. So one of the things we do to involve the audience is for both of them, people buy plumes of flowers. When they throw the plume of flowers onto the stage, the actors all have to do a social, and the audience has to do social also. We also have things just like Rocky Horror, where if anyone says the word "come," everyone has an orgasm. If everyone says, there's different words that come up for any of those performances. And we once a month we do the improv thing. Normally we do every 2 months. We'll do the Shakespeare. We've been kind of off for a while because it's been kind of a world that's just been asking for some more impromptu life rather than like rehearsed stuff. But just the idea, what I was coming back to is the interactive piece that you talk about. The one that I did, all the envelopes were there, but instead of them necessarily they didn't involve the audience in what was written. So what I did to change the show was I hired when I did the auditions, I had ensemble members because the show doesn't have to have more than 12 people. So I actually brought more people on, and I planted people in the audience to react to things that are happening on the stage. So here's what happened.
Oh no.
They were so good at it that I had people trying to start fights in the audience, not my actors, but with my actors, for them making comments and doing things in the audience. And I had to go halfway through. By the way, this isn't a high school. I had to go halfway through the show, roll down on my scooter and say, "Hey, everybody, thanks for showing up." The people who are costumed in the audience, they didn't just come dressed up.
Yeah.
Asked, please don't punch my 15-year-old students in the face because they're supposed to be talking and making comments. But the interactive, when you just talked about walking around and taking the cards out, that's probably the best part of the musical one. Other than that, it probably was rough. But the play version is straight up the movie. And what we do instead there is they do a rewind. So you get to see all the different possibilities.
Or it could have gone like this, like that whole bit at the end. I love that. That was one of my favorite. That was one of the one things I really wish was in the version we did. Like I did enjoy it. Like we added an intermission because we were the dinner theater, so we wanted to give time to sell more drinks.
Oh yeah.
But we did stuff like I think that was fun. Like I died right at the beginning of intermission.
Yeah.
And like my first act, I was in like a black suit, and then they all like stalked me, chased me through the doors, and like we did a whole Scooby-Doo chase scene because our set was just 6 doors on stage basically.
Oh wow.
And it was hilarious. But I died, and then I would come back on stage at the opening of Act 2, and I would suddenly be in the same exact suit, but now it's all white. And every night I'd pop up, and inevitably every single night some little lady, oh, he's in a white suit now, right in the front row, cracked me right up. But yeah, I love adding stuff to like stuff that wasn't scripted.
I love the fact that you're involved with live theater also. I do think that my favorite directors are ones that always point back to being part of some theater program at a high school, and that was their start. My favorite actors all started off in theater, just because and and this is nothing against anyone who doesn't do that, but I do think there is a reality that comes through in what we create, and we also seek out people. And I always say this: people talk about thinking outside of the box. I'm like, look, we don't just think outside of the box. We reinvent the box in performing arts.
Yeah.
We say, what? Well, that's a box? Oh no, it's a brooch. No, it's a hula hoop. So boxes don't even make I live in a box. I drive in a box. All that nifty stuff from that poem. But we actually recreate the box so that it fits a body.
Right.
No pun intended. With clue.
Oh,
I do think, and to kind of bring this back around to our pre-production piece, you're looking for elements you're looking for elements in pre-production that are always reminding you of the story that you want to tell.
Yes.
You're looking for people who are going to help you do it. You're looking for elements that are going to help you to tell the story. And that's the other part that's really important is, the writing of whatever the piece is a solid storyline. I want to be able, and I'm not going to say anything you haven't heard before, but I want to be able to turn the sound off on any video, any movie I watch, and still be 100% sure what's happening in it. That for me is, and if I turn the sound on and I'm completely wrong and I've made something else up in my mind, sometimes I'm cool with that too. But honestly, if you have the ability to really story tell,
right.
If you're really one of those people, if you're a what's the movie with Leonardo where it's they're a dream within a dream within a dream within a dream. Inception. Yeah. Okay. I like the movie. I liked it better than Tenet, but still I dig the idea.
I like the idea. I got very confused the first time I watched it though. I was like, what the hell's happening? And then
which one, Tenet or Inception?
Inception, the first time, because first time, honestly, in all fairness, I was only half paying attention. That's a show you gotta watch.
That's a movie you gotta really pay attention to.
I watched it the second time. I was like, now
the details.
Inception was much easier to understand than Tenet for me because I kept trying to break down the concept on Tenet where you guys saw it, right? If you didn't,
I don't think so.
Oh dear God!
That one.
So it's Denzel Washington's son, which kind of fucked up that I said that. I didn't remember his name, but someone will know. Anyway, he's a good actor. But this movie, every movie this guy gets, it's almost seems like, well, his dad's kind of old for this one. Let's get it. I'm just kidding. If he's watching this, I really apologize, bro.
If he's watching this, I think he's made it.
But your dad is fucking. It's Denzel. Anyway, point being, there are just things that are happening in it, and the concepts. I think my brain's getting older, and I'm having a hard time. Wait, you had to shoot him backwards here, and what? Isn't that the movie Wanted? Wait, no, he's walking backwards. I couldn't handle it. It was too much for me. And I do think we have some folks who are coming out right now who are creating, who they are part of a whole generation of people who are so cyber connected that they are seeing a cascading waterfall of possibilities that the rest of us are kind of blown away by. So what it leaves open for us, though, for those of us who are still like John Hughes babies or Spike Lee babies, is to write some stories that really are just heartfelt human stories with the twist of having some technology just splashed into it.
Right.
Yeah. And I don't know where the fuck that came from out of everything else.
No, that's good. Hey, gotta change the subject here a little bit. When was the last time you went to a local show in your area that was, all local talent?
Like a rock band or
just rock, hip hop, whatever.
Well, I mean, last week.
Okay,
cool. Because that's my lifestyle. So now I live vicariously. I mean, my daughter's a lead singer drummer for a punk forward alternative band, right? And I run sound, so I got no fucking choice. Roadies. You know,
Well, in this area, it seems like the music scene is like starting to get
coming
back
back
in
alive.
motion and starting to thrive, you know. So it's really, really cool. And Robin does a 1 minute or so segment of local shows in any PA area of original bands, and we're gonna play that for you right now.
Hi, it's Robin with this week's original shows in northeastern Pennsylvania. On Friday the 21st at Silver Birches in Hawley, Roots and Bluestone Duo. At the River Street Jazz Cafe, Elephants Dancing, the Harbor Boys, and the Crates. At Back Mountain Brewing in Dallas, Adam McKinley. At Shawnee Craft Brewing in Shawnee, Delaware, Roland Sushi. At Finola's in Stroudsburg, Christian Porter Band. At the Keystone Stage in Oliphant, Black Vader. At the Joint 53 in Pittston, Joe Michaels Trio. At Boulder View Tavern in Lake Harmony, Aaron McClelland. On Saturday the 22nd at Three Guys in Edwardsville, The Transmission Now and Old Daggers. At Shawnee Craft Brewing in Shawnee on Delaware, Walter Lee and Roots in Bluestone Duo. At the 1905 Tavern in Scranton, American Buffalo Ghost. At the River Street Jazz Cafe in Plains, Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman and Aaron Fink. At the Keystone Stage in Oliphant, Life 3 Times has an album release show. At the V-Spot in Scranton, Traverse the Abyss with support from 4 bands. At the Compound in Honesdale, Earthfest featuring 8 artists and the Compound House Band. At Breaker Brewing Outpost in Archbald, Adam McKinley. On Thursday the 27th at the V-Spot in Scranton, Ken Norton. If you want your show featured on the next episode, go to thebigbreak.org/podcast and click the Submit Your Show button. That's all for this week. Make sure to head to a show, spread the word, and support independent artists.
Yay! Oh, where's... Oh, hey!
I make an entrance.
Thank you.
Good job, Robin, on that. And so that's a lot of shows. That's a lot of shows.
Doesn't it feel great though?
It does.
I grew up during a time when it was just like it was a cascading number of shows rocking and rolling around the area, and I got to be part of that, being a rock band playing during that time. But my son was in rock bands, but it still was starting to roll starting a few years back. My daughter's had the experience of being part of all this new, like, we want that live. Like, thank God for the pandemic. I'm going to make fucking t-shirts. Thank you for our evil pandemic, our lost experience, that now we want live theater again, live music. Oh my God. Because I'm going out to these shows and my kids are experiencing now the complacency that my son had to deal with people like, oh, okay, whatever, he's cute, I'll watch him play. My daughter is having the experience of people wanting them to sign titties and dicks and stuff. That's fucking gross, but awesome. Like, they play these gigs and like they feel like rock stars, man.
Nice.
And
awesome.
And the local rock star feeling, from 14 and a half years of touring with a punk rock band, and like that, it wasn't about money. It was fucking vegan stew, and before we even knew what vegans were, and chilling in a basement full of sweaty dudes who were just like, man, you're the best thing I've ever seen in my life, and headbutting the shit out of somebody until the blood poured from their eye more than tears ever did. And that's the type of shit that I grew up with, and now my daughter gets to experience that. And maybe I'm a sick dad for saying it, but man, I love that she does, and I get to live vicariously through her.
No, that's an experience. It's an experience, and unless you've been there and experienced it, like you have no idea. You know, so yeah. You know, we're gonna start wrapping up here. You have any plugs you want to plug away?
We do a thing here in York, Pennsylvania called the Give Local. It's Give Local York. It's happening the first weekend in May. I just purchased my first forever home. I bought a theater in Dallastown, Pennsylvania. It will become a venue for people to come and play rock and roll, do improv theater. All original shit will come out of this place, and I'm trying to get the money together to renovate it. I just dropped I won't say how much to get the HVAC done. It'll be a nice 5,000 square foot space in a place that you can say, man, this place has this here. As an old CBGB's guy myself, we have a couple of other spots that are opening up around here. We have a place called the Skid Row Garage that's opening up. And all I'm saying is York is going to start being a hub for like new music, experimental stuff. And that's what I have coming up. I'm hanging out with my daughter's band, and I do a lot of like plays and whenever movies pop up. I'm doing a movie with his last name is Warburton, the dude who the guy Family Guy. He does the voice of the dude who has the bad legs.
Okay.
I'm in a movie with him in June. It's a Christmas movie that'll be coming out during Christmas. So if you check out wagbus.com, there'll be information about that there. Come and check us out for a live show. Hang out and have a drink with me at one of our improv shows. They're always free, and there's always free drinks. So come to New York and hang out with us.
That's awesome. I think we're gonna have to
take a road trip.
Make a big break away from here and go there.
No, I'd love to have you guys come visit, man. We have a lot of fun.
It'd be cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cool. So we've got one more video that we're going to close with, but before we get into that, everybody that's watching, thank you so much. Please share, like, I don't know what platform you're on, but you know the drill. And check out the Weary Arts Group in York. Make sure you check that out. This final video that we're going to show tonight is a band called Mustard, also out of Denver. One quick little story there is you'll see in some of these shots, he's got like this old school taxi cab that he was kind enough to allow us to use in one of our other music videos that we did for somebody else. So anyway, without further ado, Cal, thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Thank you very much.
John, thank you guys. And from Denver, Mustard.
I will drag you where the sun don't shine.